Okay, now we're ready to cut some mirror strips. So I'm taking the easy way out with one of these cutters, which you should be able to get off eBay, Etsy, they're all over the place. Amazon, your local glass cutter. In the US, readily available. Australia, it's a little more difficult. But if you just Google Gladstar, I think it's called a circle and strip cutter, you'll be able to get one at a great price. That's really worth the investment. Here I've set it to quite narrow, which makes the strips going to be just under 1 centimetre or about 5/8 of an inch. So it's nice and small to work with, and creates a lovely finish. But you could have wide ones if you're doing a big one, or you could be making a mirror frame to go around the outside of something, whatever it is you want to do with your mirror. And of course, whatever you can do with your mirror, which is pretty easy to cut, you can also do with your stained glass. And we'll have a look at that on the demo piece that we opened up with to see where we've done that. And you can use that as you like to make your own tiny pieces, particularly if working with curves or straight lines. If you were doing some very modern geometrical designs, strips are just wonderful. You can do all sorts of amazing things. So with this one here, I've got it on my workboard here. This is a little bit wide, so the ruler is a bit out. I just measure it on there and adjust it accordingly. So I'm pushing towards with this hand, and this one I'm pushing heavily that way. So we just start off on the edge. We don't have to come and crash into the edge of the stripper. And then press reasonably firmly so you get a good score line, and just go straight across. As easy as that. Now I haven't started it off particularly well here, so what might happen there is I'll get some sort of wonky cut on the end, but that's okay. Get the grazing pliers, because it's much easier with a grazing plier to do this. Out and down, and look at that, not too bad on the end there, but you can see how it's not quite 100% straight. That's because I didn't start it properly. And then you have your lovely strip, and then you can cut it however you like. You can use these nippers, will cut in the way in which we drew those lines. So you could do an angle, straight, angle, straight, angle, straight, nip, 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 and I'll just demonstrate that. So I'm doing a straight line off first to start off straight, then angle, and because it's glass, wheel nippers don't always cut straight, and then straight. Angle that little end bit off, because it's always nip, nip, and then off here, straight, nip, straight. And then you need to find all the bits you chopped off. So you can see that's produced those half keystone effects with wonky edges, which you could rub off with your rubbing stone if you wanted to. But at the end of the day, you actually can't see it unless you're really close up to your work. You can also do the same for your full keystone cut. So here it's, let me just get rid of this glass. So anything that goes in there hopefully will be a keystone cut. So I can go that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. So on a small piece of mirror, it's not too terrible because it's mostly straight. And once you put it in a mosaic, it's just like every other cut. And you can see those little tiny full keystones are creating that lovely tiny little circle that we're going to use. These two I pre-scored, and I'm going to use my grazing pliers to pull them off with. So I've pre-scored them with the glass cutter so you don't have to watch me cut glass. and you put your grazing pliers just near it. This is where your grazers come in super handy with little pieces, and you just break them off. So this way you're getting a much smoother cut to your mirror. See how that's working super well. One more. This score isn't so crash hot, so let's see how it breaks. You'll be surprised at how well it breaks. Perfect. Over here. So that's a whole bunch more little keystones. Here I've done the half keystone. You can see I've already started with the angle there. And I'm going to get in as close as I can to the straight bit and hold firmly and break. Then the little angled bit, hold firmly and break. You may want to put that in your little collection jar, which I'll just get right now. Pop that in there to keep. Then I've got one here, break this one off here. Here we go. Oh, super angle there. And of course, if you've got flaws in your glass or mirror, which I just got here, then just break it off and throw it away. This is a tiny bit. This is where a second pair of grazing pliers would be super handy. I might just send that home to its maker. Oh, got it. That one was a flawed bit, so I'll throw that one away. Oops, I don't want it. This one. Throwing too many things away. That one goes here, and that one goes there. So now I have a range of tests all cut. We've got some full keystones. We've got some half keystones here. And then we can just get our work. I'll just sort them out, mix them all up, as I do. And then we go back to our original work. So I've got sticky mesh here. And I can then just start to pop them on there using the half keystone. If I want to change angles, I'll put in one of these full keystones that will eventually change the angle. So sometimes you need one, depending on the curve. Sometimes you need two. So you can see how that curve's immediately changing. And I can turn them upside down. I can make this as wriggly as I want. And you place them as you need them to be placed. Or if you're going to glue them straight on, you can glue them straight on. I use sticky mesh because of my hands. But whatever method you use to attach your test to your mosaic work. And there you have it. These little glass trails look fantastic. I have them on my bird bath. Looks beautiful. So give those a go. Love to see what you create with them. And hopefully that inspires you, so you can use any stained glass, any coloured mirror. So you might decide to buy a piece of mirror that's, I don't know, green or bronze or purple or whatever it is. But make sure that it's not too thick, because some mirrors, like perhaps someone will give you a piece of mirror they're throwing out and it'll be a nice thick piece, and my goodness me, you need some muscles to cut that. But generally all our tiles that we work with, our stained glass pieces, so if we're using this sort of solid stained glass or cathedral stained glass, which is very similar to the window one here, this is pretty easy to cut because it's really smooth on both sides. You can see through it. One side is a little textured, and as I said, you can see through. It's pretty easy to cut, so you could use that as well. And really all sorts of things you can create with just those strips.